Hello and welcome to my channel on human design. Well, we're following the themes of the sun as it moves through the transits. So from Tuesday onwards until the next Monday, we are going to be in the thrall of gate 57, the hexagram of the gentle, the gate of intuitive insight, an individual gate, a gate of the right ear, a gate of selective hearing, because individuals don't want to be interfered with. The intuition in this gate of extraordinary clarity in the now is related to you getting these insights from a sudden input of knowing. You may not know how you know, but you know. It is also called the fear of tomorrow, the gate of the fear of tomorrow. So those of you who have it in an open splenic system, or those of you who don't have it at all, there's probably going to be times during this week where you're going, oh, what's going to happen in the future? There can be all kinds of fears out there. There's a lot to think about when you see all the wars and the hurricanes and the floods and the suffering that's going on around the world. It is easy to be fearful about tomorrow. But during this week, it's about you. It's about you getting the insights, getting the sudden spark of knowing about something, even if you don't know how you know. This is the thing about individual knowing. It just appears. And it can appear with a clarity that you never thought possible. You can suddenly know that you're in the wrong place, or you can suddenly realize that, what the hell am I doing? So what I want to do is to make it as functional as possible, as useful as possible. We can live our lives oblivious to the conditioning, oblivious to the transits, and we'll take everything personally and we'll interpret it according to what we're doing in our own world. Or we can see there are certain times where we can take advantage of what is in the transit field and really make the most use of it. And before we go into how to use the 57, I want you to just think about it. Think about where it is. We know it's in the spleen. We know it's pointing towards the 20th gate. It's pointing to being able to speak something unique in the unique voice and through the unique view of the 20th gate. But it's actually placed after the channel of struggle. So we have this struggle for purpose, fighting for purpose, and then that moves into the 57. So it's at this time, especially, that when you've struggled for purpose and struggled for meaning in your life, whether you've got struggle or not, there can come that moment when you suddenly realize what it is for you. When you suddenly realize what is not of purpose for you. It's a sudden knowing. It's catching yourself in that knowing. If you're an emotional person, or if there's a lot going on in your life, you may not even pay attention to the spleen. It's something to pay attention to in the now. It brings you into the now. Whatever else is going on, in the future or in the past doesn't matter. This is a clarity in the now about your future. It can be an early warning. It can be an indicator. It can be something that moves through you. If you've got a spleen, moves through you in terms of goosebumps, or a shiver that runs through, or suddenly the tingles are going in throughout the body, and you go, this is the case. This is the reality. I never saw it before. The reality about how to move in alignment with your individual purpose, if we put it literally. So based on that, I would like to offer you a reference during this week, from Tuesday through to next Monday. The 57 is going to be there. If you reference it in terms of your signature, so there are 4 types of human being, and each one has its own signature. So if you're a generator or a manifesting generator, the life is either going to be lived in a very frustrating way where you feel stuck in your life and pushing against resistance, or it's going to be about satisfaction. So here the 57 focusing us on tomorrow, focusing on what may happen tomorrow. Let's see what it points to in your own life about where there is satisfaction. You know, maybe you're involved in work and, you know, you're doing all of it, you know, and there's actually a small part that you really love. And you realize in that moment, actually, you can delegate a lot of what you don't like, or you can move, or you can change what you do. It can be a sudden knowing where you realize, you know, I could have more satisfaction in my life, you know, if I shifted this way or shifted that way. To frame it in that. You know, I get up every day with energy to do things because I love what I do. It's just really about finding what is really of meaning to you, what is really satisfying for you if you're a generator. And remember, generators are here to build something. They're not here just to do a little bit and then stop. They're not here just to go into that and then quit and then do something else and then do that and then quit and then do something else. They're about building something. And here in the 57, it's about the acute awareness of what it is that you can build, that is in alignment with who you are, that you would really enjoy and be satisfied every day from doing it. If you're a projector, you know, they see the life of bitterness and not being seen and not being recognized, or it's the success from being recognized, from being seen for what is in you, in your capacity to guide energy, in your capacity to help a successful outcome take place for those that you're guiding. And you get paid for that. You get recognized in money as well as in smiles and thank yous. And don't forget that. You know, if you're a projector, you want to be getting involved in the kind of work where it can be part-time or it can be managerial, where you get rewarded for your guidance. But here with the 57 in the transit, you know, there's this opportunity for this knowing to suddenly come through, the clarity of how to maybe hone what it is that you say or where you are or who you're with. You know, maybe you have to move from your current job or from your current situation to be around perhaps one or two people that you really get in that moment do see you. And what can you do with them in terms of creating more success for them and for yourself? This sudden knowing can come in which you didn't know before, nor can you plan for it. If you're a manifester, the life really is either full of anger and get out of my bloody way, or it's peaceful. The signature is peace. Where is there peace? What will bring peace to you as a manifester? What is it that you need to initiate, you know, to set in motion, to open the door for the generators to come through and then do all the work? But you've got to open the door. You've got to open the door so that you can see your impact and be peaceful with everything that follows from that. Again, the sudden knowing that can come through when you put it in that reference. If you're a reflector, you know, and I remember asking a reflector, tell me about the times when you've been really surprised in your life. And the reflector looks at me and goes, I've never been surprised in my life, Richard. It's all been so disappointing. You know, so the insight that comes in there is, well, maybe you're in the wrong bloody place. Maybe you need to be somewhere else. If where you are is bringing disappointment and disappointment, you're in the wrong place. You know, the insight to be able to see how the move can take place, how you can get from here to there without expending too much energy. Where is the place that is calling you? You know, to open yourself up to that, and it will happen in a moment. And this is the extraordinary thing about the 57. It doesn't take a lot of thinking. It's not a planning gate. It's a knowing gate. It's something that comes in directly and often with a kind of a full body sensation with it, or it does with me. I mean, I do have it in my chart. But something else to understand with these transits. The 57 does not move alone. It moves with the 51, the gate of shock in the earth. So it's in the earth in this particular cycle. So there may be an element of shock involved in this clarity. And it's an interesting thing to think about in terms of the nature of these two gates. At a hexagram level, the gate of the gentle, the 57, is actually very yang. It's got 4 yang lines, and its only yin lines are in the 1st and the 4th line. And the 51, which you would think would be very, very forceful, it's only got 2 yang lines in the 1st line and the 4th line. Something to think about, those of you who enjoy looking at the I Ching, to see the difference, to see the way that locks in. So what I'm saying is there can be shock involved. Knowing can often bring a shock when you suddenly get that clarity to cut to the core. But in cutting to the core, I want you to frame it around your signature, to see that when you're moving into your future, into a better future, into a future that's going to fit you, it's got to have the signature. For the generator, it's got to be satisfying. Otherwise there's no point. Otherwise you're just working for money and building things for other people and being a slave. And for a projector, if you're not seen, again, there's no point. You'll simply be moving through life wanting to be seen and desperate for attention in a way that it hasn't been given to you. To get to that point of clarity where you see where the gap is, you see where the move is, you see what conversation has to take place or who it has to take place with. Or maybe there's an event coming up that you could go to, that they have recognized you, that you weren't going to, and then you look at it again and go, well, actually, yeah, I think that would be good. We don't know how the insight is going to come. The whole point of individual mutative chemistry is that we don't know. We don't know until we do know. The advantage with the 57 is it's a kind of an awareness that comes before something happens. It's like an early warning intuition that those of us who have it in us recognize. And those of you who don't have it within you, yes, it can be perhaps even more destabilizing, more shocking. But the point is, you get an opportunity to know something about your future and something about where you could move to in your life, not necessarily the body, although sometimes, but it's something to take advantage of. So it's going to be quite a week, but it's a week where you can use the opportunity of the 57. And something else to understand. It is fear of tomorrow, unless you're really in it. If you're in the now, there is no fear. If you're in the now, like is going on in various troubled places around the world, it's not about the fear, it's about getting through whatever you need to get through in the now. And it's amazing, in the now, no matter how fearful, it may appear from an outsider, if you're actually in it, if you're following your intuition, if you're in that movement, you're just getting it done. It's not about thinking about it. It's about actually having that intuitive hit, knowing it's correct for you and moving forward. And of course, the 57 is pointing to 3 different gates. So if you've got the 34th gate in your sacral, then you got the channel of power coming in. The intuition, the intuitive clarity that cuts to the core can involve you doing something differently. If it goes to the 20th gate, perhaps it's penetrating awareness in the now that you feel compelled to speak or to see and speak later at the right time. perhaps a way of phrasing something in a completely unique way. If you've got the 10th gate, then we have perfected form. So it'll be a different form of behavior, or perhaps recognizing your own unique behavior in a different way, perhaps accepting yourself more, perhaps feeling, well, actually, I am like this. To hell with them. I'm going to behave individualistically, to see the value of that and how good that can feel. For all the talk of the fear gate in the 57, let us not forget that the spleen is also a feel-good factor. You can also feel good about some insight that comes to you. It's not all grim news, It never is. Okay, well, I hope you found that that fun and interesting, and look out for it. It's something for you to look out for in this week. I love this, I can say, well, this is going on, so look out for it. An experiment to be run, a way of testing the knowledge for yourself in your own life, which is pretty exciting because you get to see, it really is a pattern. We really are in a program. And that doesn't mean we don't have to be trapped in it. We can wake up in it and enjoy it and take the opportunities that it offers, especially in the transit field. Okay, I hope you really enjoyed that. And if you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back again very soon with something completely different. Bye-bye for now.